Este Stongo, Gary Fife, Jaho Jifgedos. Welcome again to another edition of Emvpanayv, one who tells the story. Today we are focusing on a subject that is pretty seasonal here, the scam and perhaps criminal proceedings that affect people who are out shopping, or particularly elders and those who may be less able to defend themselves from people who want to get them involved. Our guest this morning is Mashell Sourjohn, a Mvskoke woman. She is the AARP Associate State Director of Community Outreach for Oklahoma. Welcome, Ms. Sourjohn. Thank you for making time for us.
It's just don't go. No, thank you so much for having us.
Okay, you got quite a title there, and I was running out of breath there. First of all, we're seeing a lot of news agencies and other public service groups focusing on the holiday season of giving and, of course, buying presents. It's the most incredible shopping period of the year. But along with that shopping focus comes some problems with people trying to get over on you that are not quite being honest about their transactions. In other words, trying to rip you off, right?
Yes, sir. Fraud is a year-round experience, but holidays, of course, we are getting hit hard. Holidays are a time for togetherness, celebration, and giving, and unfortunately, these scammers really take advantage of the season to give gifts to themselves, using our money to pay for it. So we at AARP, we're out there every day working with our volunteers locally to educate the public about how these con artists, these scammers rather, are out there trying to get at our money.
Now, I understand you participated with the Indigenous Journalism Association on seminars to educate the public about this particular problem.
We did. In August of 2023, AARP, our research department, had released the fraud experience in Indigenous communities. It's a 2023 qualitative study among American Indian and Alaska Native communities on our experience with fraud.
The idea was to educate participants on particular techniques or examples of these kinds of frauds and to avoid them. Was that your presentation?
Yeah, so with the Indigenous Journalists Association, who I'm a member of, we actually worked with them on releasing the information on our study from the fraud experience in Indigenous communities and educating them on those key findings, which are Native Americans report a wide range of frauds and scams, both seemingly targeted at our community members, as well as, of course, Native Americans are reporting scams that we're seeing across the nations. And then we just wanted to be able to provide our journalists with the information about the key findings on this research, as well as where to go for information and report that information out to our communities so we can help people understand what those scams are that are occurring. We know that if you can spot a scam, you can stop a scam and help these con artists stay out of our pocketbooks.
Now let's take a look at some of the factors there. The size of the problem. Do you have a feel for that? Are there any estimates there?
We do. At AARP, we know that criminals steal an estimated of $28.3 billion just from older adults each year. Of that $28.3 billion in elder financial exploitation losses, 7.8 billion of those are stolen funds are rarely reported to or those are reported to authorities. So it's a small percentage that's getting reported. And we saw that in our study from our fraud experience and indigenous community study. We did see that participants expressed concerns that elders in our communities are particularly vulnerable, that they stated that the emotional consequence of experiencing fraud was said to be devastating in some cases, and many expressed that a need for education of latest frauds and scams in their community from people that they knew. We had one participant of the study from Alaska stating that, elders need to learn about what the frauds and scams are first, that we just can't go out and say, oh, that's a scam, you need to avoid it. But we really need to explain to them what that scam is, how these con artists are working, and what to look out for.
Now, the elders being a target makes things doubly troublesome for those on fixed incomes, and trying to perhaps set aside something to help celebrate the period here. Now, do you have some idea of how this is happening? I mean, why do they pick on these elders? Are they more susceptible or easier to con, I guess?
I don't think that we're more easily susceptible to con. I do think, we are trusting, and we always want to see the best in people. But I think, we're seeing across the nation, particularly with this study that we did a study with Native Americans 17 to age 70, and the report, we saw scams hitting all of us across the board. But everybody experiences those common scams, from the business and government imposter scams. These grandparent scams are rampant, and say, hey, Grandma, I'm in trouble. I'm in jail. I need somebody to come bail me, or send some money to bail me out. And so it, puts these seniors in a very alarming state, to where they'll make decisions that they don't often, that they wouldn't do in any other situation. We're seeing a lot of online romance scams. And then the can you do me a favor scam, where people are receiving emails like seemingly from a boss stating, hey, I need you to do me a favor. I need to go get some gift cards so I can help somebody out in our local church.
Now, the focus seems to be people working scams that are domestic, shall we say. American people and having American problems, as opposed to outsiders. Now, at one point, I think it was popular that many of the scam artists were saying they were government officials or military people from another country, saying they had several $1 million they need to sneak into the U.S. and can we use your bank account? Are those still around? Are they still prevalent, or is it mostly the relative kind of thing?
No, we're seeing all of those scams. We hear a lot. We have an AARP Fraud Watch network hotline where anyone can call in and report if they feel like that they've been a victim of fraud, or if they just want to find out if what they're being approached by is fraud or scam. But we're seeing all of those. We see the phantom riches. These scammers really seek to convince us of a lie so they can steal our money. And those phantom riches are one of those where, a large bounty is promised and awaits, such as a lottery winnings or surefire investment schemes. Many of our seniors are told that they've won a sweepstakes or a lottery, but they just need to pay some upfront fees or some taxes to claim their winning. And it's certainly a scam. Some people even may say that they're from Publishers Clearinghouse, or present you with free government grants and money. We saw quite a bit of that, especially during the pandemic. There's some profiling. These scammers, they'll gather key pieces of information, like I mentioned, off of Facebook or just by Googling your name. And a lot of times your relatives or your personal information just pops right up. But they'll impersonate people being a family member. And then we also are seeing a lot of course, that fear and intimidation, such as pretending that they are someone from the federal government. They're from Social Security or Medicare office or the sheriff's department, and stating, they've got a warrant out for their arrest. But they can take care of that right now if you just want to pay for it over the phone with some gift cards. And then we also are seeing a lot of love and companionship scams where scammers pretend to be a love interest or a celebrity off of social media.
We had this problem come close to our family not too long ago. I had relatives that were quite elderly and I think beginning to suffer from the effects of that advanced age. And this guy got a call from some general or prince or something that from Africa, one of the African countries rather, and they wanted to give him $1 million or $2 million just for taking this amount of money and hiding it in his account. Now, and he was so convinced of it that he kept trying to get people to drive him to the bank so he could withdraw this amount and then send it to these scammers. Now, that kind of brought it home to me, saying, these guys are persistent and they're picking on people who are least likely to detect that kind of situation. Now, in the process of your survey and your research, was this kind of situation prevalent? Were there a lot of the, as you say, mystery gifts coming out and picking on people?
We're seeing that on all fronts. These scammers go after, a method of payments, like you mentioned. They're asking for cash. They're asking, instructing wire transfers, or utilizing those peer-to-peer money transfer apps. Sometimes they'll ask for cryptocurrency. And then we're seeing a lot of where they're asking people or telling people to go buy gift cards. And people need to know that gift cards are not a legitimate form of payment. Anyone who directs you to pay by a gift card is absolutely lying to you, and it's a scam. And so, we are seeing quite a bit of those. They may approach people over the phone, email, online. They may send people to your door, like a carrier, to pick up money. But just, if people find themselves that in a scam, we highly recommend that they, call. We have a toll-free number at AARP with our AARP Fraud Watch Network. And we encourage people to call that number at 877-908-3360. And that they can talk with some trained volunteers that can walk them through if they are indeed involved in a scam, if they have given up money, what they need to do to further protect their identity, and how to report it.
Let me explore this gift card angle. We've heard a lot of those kind of stories. And for, the last decade, they've been plaguing us. But why use a gift card? What is the advantage to the crook to have someone purchase a card?
So these gift cards, they're pretty much used to launder money. And then also make sure that, once you purchase a gift card and then you send anyone that information off the back of the strip of that card and give them a PIN, they immediately take that money off, and there's no way to get that money back. So it's not traceable. There's no way for law enforcement to really trace that money, where it went to, and who's utilizing those funds.
Now, many times we hear that some outfit in Africa or Europe or Eastern Europe are pulling these scams. Is there any particular reason why we hear a lot of that coming from those areas?
We do. Of course, these scammers are coming from all over, both inside the United States and outside of the United States. A lot of people may think, well, what's the harm if I am sending somebody to that's, even if they are pretending to be my love interest, at least I get to talk to them for a little while. But what they are doing is sending those funds most likely to terrorist organizations or criminal cartels. So they're actually funding more people to get caught up in frauds and scams.
Now, you mentioned sheriff's associations or something like that. Now, I personally had a call not a couple of weeks ago from some guy who's, overly friendly, sitting on a back rail kind of thing. And he said he was from the Deputy and Sheriff's Association of America or something like that, and wanted to talk to me about making a donation to help them with their good work. That sounded pretty rotten to me right off the bat. Now, have these people be hiding behind the legitimacy of a law enforcement agency's name? Is there a lot of that?
Absolutely. We see con artists call or scammers call and say that they are from the Sheriff's Department, that they're from the Social Security, Medicare, any type of law enforcement. All of these organizations are not going to call you directly, if you do get contacted from these organizations, they will send you an email. We do regular community events with our sheriff's department, local deputies, FBI agents, and then, of course, with the Social Security, Medicare. And they all will tell you, we will not call you unless you called us first. And so we highly encourage people, if you get those calls, don't answer them. When you do pick up that phone, it tells that scammer that there's a live person on that line, so they can call back and try to get you at another time. So we highly recommend that people do not pick up the phone. If you do pick up the phone, make sure that you hang up immediately. Don't engage with those individuals. And if you feel that something's going on, say with your Social Security or Medicare or any other time, just hang up and then look up the actual agency on their website and call that number back. Never call the number that you saw maybe on your caller ID, because those can be spoofed as well.
I always thought it was fun when I hung up on one of these people, hoping they were getting frustrated by not making a call work. But I always got a kick out of saying nope and then click. We have experienced on our home lines callers trying to maneuver the conversation into having the person getting the call, the recipient of the call, say the word yes, and a word that would be recorded and then used later on as to saying, well, yes, they agreed to this deal because they said yes. Now, that's still a potent force out there?
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that these scammers or tactics are using, and those are one of them. Again, we really highly encourage people, just don't even pick up that phone. If you don't know it, I mean, you'll even see phone numbers that pop up as verified. Or sometimes you'll see a phone number that may look like that it's a loved one calling, and you find out that their number has been spoofed. When you pick up those phone, as I mentioned, when you pick up that line, it tells those scammers that somebody's on that line, and they're willing to pick up and talk to you. So we highly encourage people, just don't even answer it. Let it go to voicemail. Let your voicemail screen that, because if it really is such an important call, they'll leave a message.
Okay. Now, I was making reference to kind of joking around and making life hard for these scammers by playing the game. But that in itself could be a little dangerous, because you might make a slip that could cost you something there.
Exactly. It could, they could utilize that information to, maybe charge something to your phone account, or, we just highly recommend don't pick up those lines if you don't know them. Have them, let them use your voicemail to screen those incoming calls if you aren't absolutely certain of who's calling you.
As we get further into the holiday season, it's going to be a lot easier to play the thing, like help your fellow man. These children need food, they need teddy bears or whatever. And using quite a strong emotional angle there. Is there some way to detect whether or not this person is using these ideas just as a scam? I mean, there are warning flags?
Yeah. So at AARP.org/FraudWatch Network, we have a wonderful handbook. It's called the AARP FraudWatch Network Handbook Alert. And it's got some wonderful information and some resources in there about like charity ratings. We have a website on there of charitynavigator.org and also give.org. You can go to these websites to check out the ratings and the reviews of these charities.
Around the country doing this, how does that work?
We do, of course. We have volunteers that go out in the communities that are trained on the most common scams, of course, the method these scammers are trying to get at us, and then also how to help others that have been victims of scams. And again, we know if you can spot a scam, you can stop a scam. So this education getting out is really important. But we do have volunteers that go out and do free presentations. Of course, at AARP, we do have free Fraud Watch Network kits. People can go at AARP.org/OK Fraud Prevention Kit and order a free kit that will have this handbook in there, along with some other valuable resources and information to help people learn about those latest frauds and scams. And it's not just for people that want to learn about these frauds and scams, it's also for family caregivers. As family caregivers, we're often the ones that are teaching our loved ones about the latest frauds and scams, or how to be safe on our tablets and our phones. And then often, if our loved ones do kind of get caught in a fraud or a scam, then we're the ones that are trying to help clean up their, protect their identity and their checking their pocketbooks. So. So great information there. It's completely free. You don't have to be an AARP member. You don't even have to be age 50 plus to be able to order those.
The campaign you're waging, what areas of Native America are you reaching right now?
So this information we have available across the nation. It is available to all of our 574 federally recognized tribal nations and citizens and non-citizens. But the fraud experience in indigenous communities, the study that we did, that was a nationwide study that we did, again, from people aged 17 to 70.
The idea that you're trying to get this information out there sounds, really wonderful. Excuse me. What other Native organizations are you working with besides the journalists?
So we have partnered with the National Urban Indian Family Coalition, and here in Oklahoma, we've partnered with the Oklahoma Indian Missionary Conference. We were very excited to be able to work with them to secure some free tablets in 2023 for our Native American urban elders. And then as a part of that tablet distribution, we also did some free education on how to stay safe on your tablet, how to use your tablet. It's important for be able to know how to turn it on, turn it off, how to work some of those apps, and then also how to update your security system. And then we also, of course, did some training on some of these cyber scams that we're seeing and how to stay safe, as well as some education on the Affordable Connectivity Program that's available across the nation to help out once the plans for those particular tablets run out. And then also, we do have a free, we also did education on our older adults technology services, which is free through AARP, that provides free online computer classes and as well as lots of other healthy classes. But also it has a hotline where people can call and get free assistance on, how do I update my system? Or I think I've been caught in this cyber scam. What do I need to do to, fix my computer?
All right, in the last minute or so we have here, what would your final words be in helping Native people avoid these scams or recover from them, perhaps, or report them?
Absolutely. If people have been targeted by a scam or fraud, just know, one, you're not alone. It is not your fault. These scammers are trained in what they do, so we want to pull out any type of embarrassment that they may feel, and just know that they are a true victim of a crime. And so we do have trained volunteers through our Fraud Watch Network helpline at 877-908-3360. It's completely free, and it's available to anyone, regardless if you're an AARP member or you're age 50 plus. And we do have some additional resources at our AARP.org Fraud Watch Network. If you want to learn about some of those additional frauds and scams that are happening out there, and if you would like a fraud presentation, or you want to become a volunteer to educate people in your community, we would love to train you. And people can reach out to me at Mashell Sourjohn at Sourjohn at AARP.org.
Mashell Sourjohn, 2,000 Mados for making time. We finally got this discussion to happen after several attempts. And once again, I want to thank you for your patience and the work you're doing. And hopefully a lot of people can pick up on this campaign and save themselves some problems and some money. So, Mado.
Mado to you. Yeah.